Namaste. Welcome back. As I said in the previous video, it was either going to be later today or tomorrow, and well, I was inspired to do it today. Had the availability and opportunity, and when opportunity knocks, we seize it. Next, I want to dive in. We talked about food, spices, and herbs utilizing their health benefits in a holistic, high vibrational manner for our brain chemistry and biology. Now we're going to talk about the olfactory systems as well as the eyes, nose, mouth, throat, and our primary sensory components. In this, it's going to be more dived into the spices and herbs, but you can also get it from whole foods as well. In fact, you can do a cross comparison, and just hearing how a spice or herb serves the body in its natural component and properties, you can also match it with food groups, especially with many of the fruits and berries, and leafy greens, raw vegetables, slightly cooked. Don't overcook the vegetables. You end up degrading the integrity of the naturalness of supplied abundance of well-being in your vegetables. Okay, a light sauteing is fine. A little bit of cooking is good. Some people like them completely tender and overcooked. You end up actually cooking out most of the vital nutrients that they provide. So let's talk about the biological response and the activity of utilizing some certain foods, spices, and herbs for your olfactory system, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your throat, and the components of the sensory aspect. You see, whole organic, which means it's completely clean, no additives, no filters, no pesticides, no processing, no chemically altered food. Or, if you look closer to some food packagings, modified, which a lot of the modified is lab-grown food, okay? If you're like me and you like to eat clean as much as possible, you might encourage yourself to learn a few things about gardening and create your own backdoor farm-to-table opportunity, okay? Know that in Tennessee, you have a certain temperament for growing certain fruits and vegetables, etc., etc. Like you won't be able to probably, unless it's a very, very controlled environment, you probably won't be able to grow an avocado tree or some of the tropical fruits. But play around with it a little bit, you know? The following introduction is for educational and informational purposes. It is not to be construed, implied, or explicitly consented as replacement for medical, health, or therapeutical advice under a licensed care provider. This is for your own due diligence and your own benefit if you choose to want to explore down this path. I do not require nor command or demand, but provide you the opportunity to become aware of if that's something that you would like to venture down as a path in life. Again, consult with your primary care providers to ensure that there are no interactions to what medications you may be presently on, or the situation of which your body is currently holding a state of beingness as. Okay. Ginger. It's a natural antihistamine and anti-inflammatory, helping to reduce sinus swelling and nasal congestion and inflammation in the nose, helping to clear olfactory congestion. Understand that what we call the idea of being sick is actually the intelligence of your body releasing what does not serve you in the highest capacity before you even knew that you had the components in yourself to be unwell or out of balance. Okay. Peppermint. You can use as oil, you can use as the exact herb, is a natural antihistamine as well. Or not, I'm sorry, natural decongestant as well, by thinning the mucus and opening up nasal passages, helping with breathing supports, airflow. Okay. Garlic. How many of y'all like garlic? You know, whether it's raw garlic, whether it's garlic that's been sitting in solution, or grounded garlic. Garlic is a natural antibacterial and antiviral component in the olfactory system, serving your body in a high vibrational capacity way. Maybe you don't like garlic. Maybe you prefer something else. There's always an alternative to the item that you may not be favorable of, okay? Which some people are super sensitive with their senses, and garlic can be very strong or outside of their comfort level. And this isn't like outside the comfort level of introducing a new behavior pattern and jumping back into familiarity, but rather your body tells you, nope, this isn't for me. Listen to your body. Your body is intelligent, okay? Mouth and throat. Mouth and throat requires hydration, which means plenty of clean drinking water, okay? I'm not talking about the sugar-fused water. I'm not talking about the carbonated water. Even when it says healthy or it says this or that, clean drinking water, the closest to natural spring water if you can. Some people have filters. Make sure that the filters that you are utilizing for your tap water are only what the component is, not mixed with other compounds or chemical compounds. Okay, right now we have a charcoal only filtration system on our tap water. Okay, many of your drinking water that comes from the tap might have trace elements of chlorine in it, or chlorinated properties. I would suggest an alternative method, okay? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying my body does not respond well with chlorinated water of drinking, okay? And like I said, I'm taking this from my personal experience and what I have experienced through my body. Licorice root helps to naturally break up phlegm while soothing irritated tissues, okay, as well as softening or calming, let's use the word calming, vocal cords, okay. Sometimes we get excited, we go to a concert and we might scream because of excitement and enjoy the moment, and then the drawback might be a sore, scratchy throat the next morning. I would encourage some licorice root, maybe even some marshmallow root with slippery elm tea, which is known to have properties of soothing effect, calming effect, and coating a scratchy throat. Raw honey. Do not give honey to an infant or toddler or baby, okay? There are reasonable components to that, and I ask you to do your due diligence because I don't want to create a form of biasness, but rather I want you to do your own research and dive into it, dive deep into it, okay? But raw honey is a natural remedy for coating the sore throat. You might find it in cough drops. You might find it in over-the-counter cough syrup. But a lot, even the ones that say natural-based, look at the label to determine whether or not it has synthetic ingredients, chemical compound synthetics involved in it as well. Okay, coats the sore throat, eases irritation, and is a supplier of antibacterial properties. For the ears, mullein, which can be found as a tea or herb by itself. You can use it in cooking, smoothies, etc. You can even make it as an oil for like earache oil. Has soothing and anti-inflammatory properties that help with inner ear fluid and discomfort. Again, discomfort means that your natural rhythm is kind of out of balance in that capacity, okay? Doesn't mean that you are broken, doesn't mean that you are unwell or unhealthy. It just means that a certain component in that aspect is out of balance, and we just bring it back into balance, okay? Be careful adopting the identity of brokenness or sickness. Most times we don't think about the words that come out, and when we speak saying, for example, I am sick, well, you're declaring a state of identity as saying you are, not that you are experiencing symptoms that mimic the idea of sick feeling, okay? When a doctor might say something to you that you have this, or gives you a prognosis or diagnosis of this is what you have, you then take that information and you share it with others, reinforcing what was stated in a state of I have. That I have is also very, very closely relative to I am. And I won't go too far into the powerness of word usage and I am. If you are interested in that, there are videos I have uploaded in that aspect. Turmeric. We mentioned turmeric for the brain component. Turmeric is also a great component for ears, nose, throat, mouth, and your primary senses, your physical senses, okay? The things that you use to detect your external environment or interpret your external environment. Is an anti-inflammatory and immune, and aids with immune dysfunctionality, okay? With the tissues swelling in the throat, the nose, the ears, the mouth, taste buds, gum of your teeth, some of those properties will also be greatly beneficial to combine with multivitamin supplement, because it carries zinc, manganese, magnesium, your B vitamins, vitamin C, vitamin K, lutein, beta carotene, you name it. You will find that in most full vitamin supplements. Okay, taking more than the recommended dosage of that is the serving size in any supplement or vitamin is not going to work faster. You're probably just going to upset your body in its intelligence. Okay, it's going to use what it needs, and it's going to dispel everything else, and then the things that isn't being used gets dispelled out of you, and then you're throwing money away on, and I hate to say it, the supplemental market can get very costly. Okay, let's not throw money away. Let's utilize it for its benefits, not exceeding the recommended dosage. Okay, and maybe the recommended dosage is too high, and you might want to try a lower dosage to introduce yourself to it, especially if it's something new to you. Okay, and these are just spices and herbs. A lot of times when these senses are not functioning optimally or in a higher vibrational favor way, I will utilize my medicinal cabinet of teas. If my wife says that she's feeling a certain way, in a physicality way, I will already have the knowledge that I've absorbed, practiced, applied, and what tea to grab without having to read it, because I already know what it does and how it serves. Okay, she doesn't have to know how it serves. By giving that tea to her, I allow it to unfold its own process, and I allow her to give me the feedback. Sometimes, even a good tea, a person doesn't find favorable with their taste. So that's where a little bit of trial and error might come in, and you find a more favorable tasting tea that offers the same medicinal health benefits. Okay. And in the food category, it's your fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, your nuts, legumes, homemade dressings. Instead of the store-bought pre-packaged dressings, try your hand at creating your own dressings, okay, from scratch, with the intention of using whole, clean ingredients. Okay, it may take a little bit of time for your physicalness to find it pleasing. Okay, because you might be used to eating food in a certain way as a habitual practice. Okay. And so when you introduce something new to it, it's unfamiliar, and it may take a couple of times, and you might have to tweak it a little bit with the flavonoids of natural ingredients. But when we dull our senses, for lack of a greater word right now, in the physical capacity, I'm not saying mental capacity or emotional capacity, because yes, those greatly influence how our senses behave as well. In the physical, biological response and activity manner, pay attention. observe. Don't judge or form an ideology of this has to occur as an outcome, because what you're going to do is you're going to create a resistance to it, thinking that if I take this now, it will solve the problem, but it might be something that happens gradually rather than instantaneously. Or you may be eating something and your body responds, hey, this is our state of being, let's give attention to these things, and you serve it one day that, and then you go back to historical pattern of living the lifestyle. This is why I say it takes 21 days to create a new habitual practice, but to maintain that practice and continue elevating that vibrational value of a new lifestyle way of living, it takes 30 days thereafter of continued practice. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Even if you throw a snack in there. Elevate. Now, you don't have to change everything right off the bat, but I would encourage maybe one small change at a time so that you can actually feel the difference in an internal way, okay? In an internal physical way. As you tune into that, treat the next item and tune into how that's going in. All the way from putting it in your mouth, chewing it, tasting it, smelling it, seeing it, maybe hearing how the way that it cooks, to how it's going down your throat, past your chest cavity, into your gut, and how your body is responding with it. If you stay attuned with your attention to it well enough, or into a lengthy amount of awareness into it, you will actually be able to tune into, in the moment, how your body responds to it, what it's doing with that food by breaking it up into cellular structures and dividing it throughout your body. Okay. Some practitioners have refined this so greatly that they have discovered exactly where something goes in a cellular way and how it's vibrating in a cellular way. Okay. Everything is energy, and energy is everything. And as food in a physical manner is in a vibrational state, and as you consume it, that vibrational state becomes part of you, and your cells begin to integrate and vibrate in the same frequency and vibrational level. The higher the vibration, the more elevated you end up discovering about yourself. The lower vibrational quality of consumption, the lower you may discover your response. Whether it's an emotional lowered response, maybe it's a physical lowered response, or a mental lower response, even an energetical response. How we treat our internal body is only going to let you know, because you are the only person in your body. I can tell you how things work through my body and how I've experienced them through my own personal testing of it. But just as I experience no food allergies, others might have a sensitivity or an allergy, or they've been consuming something that does not agree in the health benefit of that item, that you might have to use an alternative source in a high vibrational clean manner to replace. But sometimes you don't know that until you experience it, okay? Um, but try some of the remedies, and I encourage you, because this is just a brief overview of some of the things. I encourage you to do your own due diligence, because I don't want to create the framework or the mindset for you. I am a firm believer that when you do for yourself, you find it more appreciating that you took the steps to do so, rather than someone coming in and doing it for you. Now, I can make a meal for you in the highest vibrational format and set it before you, without saying a single word other than dinner's ready, or whatever meal of the day at that time. Just knowing that you are being served food in my dwelling place will carry that higher vibrational resonance. Even food that looks like it's fast food. I can create pizzas because people like pizzas. I can create a higher vibrational pizza versus one that you might find in fast food or pick up in the frozen food section at the store. Okay, using whole clean ingredients, making my own crust or alternative type of crusts. Some people have gluten sensitivities, so I'm always mindful. My sister-in-law has certain sensitivities, so when we have a gathering, I make dishes that everyone can enjoy, and then I make dishes that people specifically like that maybe she can't enjoy, but they want themselves. So I have had a great index of culinary experience of serving to the capacity and needs of how someone's body responds to certain types of foods. Adventure. Enjoy. Love the process as it unfolds. If you are passionate in what you do and you have your whole heart embedded in it, the food always tastes elevated. When you feel like you are put into a pressured time format, that food may lose its quality because you're throwing other energy in it besides the physical ingredients, okay? And I won't go too far into that detail. There is a video on my channel that you can check out that goes into that, as well as some other properties of foods and stuff like that. But I want to ask you one quick question, and I know it's getting a little lengthy here. Ask yourself, do you like something because you like it? Or do you like something because you are familiar with it, because it's what was always given to you? And how did it respond? How do you respond in a physical way? How does the body respond in a physical way to those things? When you start shifting your awareness to how your body is responding to the things that you are consuming, you start building an index of understanding of how to serve the body with honorable intentions, so that it can carry you through whatever you want to do in life. All right? I love you guys. Be well. One love.